Stephen A., do you believe or are you buying the fact that Darrelle Revis is struggling?
No, I'm not. Darrelle Revis is incredibly intelligent and astute, and he doesn't expend energy unnecessarily, particularly at this juncture in his career. Obviously, he's been hurt, even though last year he played in Tampa, but it was questions as to whether or not he was going to be the elite receiver that he once was, Skip. Obviously, he came on strong at certain points with Tampa last year, but at the same time, there were some times, particularly early on, where there were some questions about him, but then we've got into, the zone schemes and some of the things that he was being asked to do, and it was atypical, rather, of what he was accustomed to doing while playing for Rex Ryan in New York, whereas he comes to New England, and there's a different set of responsibilities that he's going to have that's perceived as being a bit different than what we were accustomed to seeing him do in Tampa last year. I do know that Jeremy Maclin can ball. I do know that he didn't play a game last year because of that ACL injury. He's never had a 1,000-yard season, but the brother can play. And when you consider the fact that Deshaun Jackson is gone, he's going to be a priority within Chip Kelly's offense. You've got Ertz and Brent Selleck and, of course, Jason Avant and Riley Cooper. Plus, you acquired Darren Sproles, and you're talking about him in the backfield with LaShawn McCoy and all of that stuff. And who knows what they're going to be able to do. But you're going to see a lot of dipping and dunking on the part of Nick Foles. In the end, we'll see what Maclin could do because he's got something to prove, and there's no doubt that he can play. But I'm not going to judge Darrelle Revis by what happens in practice. He's too big time to do that. Now, Friday's preseason game with the lights on, and it being a preseason, albeit a preseason game, the lights are on. It's not practice. It's preseason. I can definitely surmise that Darrelle Revis is the type of person. I'll show you what I got come Friday. I'm not going to show all my hand now. But it's much ado about nothing. But that can change if we see more of it Friday.
Okay, from this reporter, this was happening regularly.
Yes.
That he was getting toasted regularly.
One-on-one.
And this is camp.
Yeah.
And because of Twitter, people tweet from play to play in camp, and you say, oh, my God, the world is overreacting. But if it happens enough time in camp, Tuesday was a dry day. I think yesterday was a wet day. Does it matter? Maybe a little bit. Maybe Maclin had better footing.
Right.
But you're suggesting that Darrelle would give, I don't know, 75% in a camp practice.
Well, they said when Maclin got behind him, he stopped running.
Okay.
He just...
Fair enough. Okay, here's my take on Darrelle Revis. I called him when the Patriots acquired him the biggest and most stunning anyone's edition of the whole NFL offseason was the New England Patriots landing Darrelle Revis.
Got it.
To me, it put them over the top in the AFC. But now I got to see Revis be Revis because last year in Tampa, he did make it through all 16 games coming off his ACL. I didn't watch a whole lot of them, but when I did watch, Revis wasn't Revis. Not yet. Still not sure, not cutting the way he used to. I didn't see the movement. I didn't see the confidence in his knee that I used to see, obviously, when he was healthy. So now it's time, as I read, that the Patriots aren't doing Revis Island anymore. They're not going to let him station himself on one side of the defense and say, whoever comes over here, they're out of this play, like Deron used to do.
Right.
He's going to flip. He's going to switch. He's going to go from side to side depending on what scheme Belichick wants to run and where they want Revis on which receiver. So, okay, maybe he's getting up there in age just a little bit. Maybe that's a small concession to what's happened post-surgery. But I need to see Revis be 95% of Darrelle Revis. I think I will. But you talked about the game this week. Yeah, I need to see some there. But I'm waiting for game one because I'm hoping that you're exactly right, that we won't see 100% of Revis until opening day. And if we do see 95% of Revis, the Patriots are going to win the AFC.
You know who Revis reminds me of? As an athlete, not in the same sport. Dwyane Wade.
I agree with that. I think it's a good comparison.
When you look at Dwyane Wade,
I agree.
He sits there and he looks like he's lollygagging and he's just moseying along, and then all of a sudden, bam, 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 2 moves, and here he comes. Just explodes on you. And his quickness, his speed is very, very deceptive. And more importantly, his tenacity. 1 minute, Dwyane Wade seems like he's just in cruise control. And in a flash, he explodes, which is why Shaq called him Flash. That's how I look at Revis.
I agree.
Revis is the guy that, you know, he seems in cruise control at certain points, not in a game, but at certain moments in a season, whether it be training camp, practice, as the season approaches, etc. He doesn't expend unnecessary energy, not just on the field, but off the field. It's just like when he comes and he's looking for more money or he's looking for a new contract. There are times when he amps up the intensity. There are other times when it doesn't seem to matter, but so much. The man knows what he's doing. He knows his temperament. He knows what works best for him. And that level of experience and savvy makes him very, very lethal because you never know when he's going to hit you or how.
I love your analogy. And I think it applies off the field and off the court also, because we've had Darrelle on this show and I've gotten to know him a little bit. His demeanor is Wade-like too. Very nice guy. You know him.
Yes, he is. Very nice guy.
Very nice guy. Pretty low-key off the field. And you can't really see the intensity. You can see the pride in his eyes, but you don't get intensity until he puts the helmet on.
Time.
Yeah, till it's time.
Till it's time.
Until it's really time in the game at the moment, and then bam, bam, bam.